where I saw her last.
This is morbid, Papa.
The last day died. The other girls threw her a little party. 30, 40 girls on the floor. And me, watching them.
You shouldn't be in here. This building's been condemned.
And that business with the brushes, I didn't invite it. It was Von Choki's process, his invention.
It was years ago, Papa.
We'll blame him for that. But I wasn't a technical man. I had my shareholders to think about. Gentlemen, we stand today at the threshold of a new era, an era of ingenuity, an era of possibility, marked by the marriage of commerce and science. Radium, my friends, is the fruit of that marriage, and like the automobile before it, like the telephone and the telegraph, this miracle element once began as a novelty and is now a necessity for daily life. Luminous watches, luminous dials. These were agents of victory in Europe. Now, radium is about to become the agent of a new victory. The coming victory over cancer.
Arthur, what a day.
Dan, what did I tell you? They love us.
Did you see Von Choki? White as a sheet.
He's here?
Back at the hall.
I'm surprised he had the nerve.
Hold on, please. Miss Wiley, what a nice surprise. Charlie, Dan, do you remember Miss Wiley of the Consumers League?
Gentlemen.
Miss Wiley was our valued partner in last spring's laundry crisis.
Miss Wiley, no more complaints, I hope, from the housewives in Orange.
The laundry is fine. Thank you, Dr. Lehman.
Ought to be. We spent a lot of money on those filters.
The fact is, I'm here on that other matter.
Your letter. This is not the best time, Miss Wiley.
I was hoping you could answer the immediate question.
I'll answer it. There's no white phosphorus in the paint, Miss Wiley.
But the young lady's condition?
There's no white phosphorus anywhere on the property.
Then how do you explain the bone decay in her jaw?
This is one of our girls we're talking about?
Former employee. Left us about 2 years ago.
So why don't you talk to her current employer then?
She's not working currently. She's too ill.
I'm sorry to hear it. But let me assure you, Miss Wiley, we are taking your concerns very seriously.
We are consulting with the Harvard School of Industrial Medicine.
You mean Dr. Drinker?
You know him?
Fairly well. The chair of our league is a colleague of his.
Then we can agree. Whatever Dr. Baker concludes, we'll be satisfied.
I expect so. Thank you, Mr. Roeder. Gentlemen?
Have some cake, Miss Wiley.
Well, whatever the trouble is, it can't be anything at the plant.
We'll look at it. Meanwhile, Charlie, you just keep smiling.
You should have seen it, Grace. The church was filled with flowers. Lilies, and carnations, and orchids. You know how Amelia loved orchids.
Those were flags.
Orchids.
Flags.
I know orchids when I see them, Irene. Purple orchids. Oh, Grace, and that smell, it was like
Flowers?
like heaven. I was gonna say like heaven.
Like heaven. Catherine, it was just a funeral. You make it out like it was some sort of Valentino picture.
It wasn't just a funeral. It was Amelia's, and it was beautiful. Oh, and Grace, the company sent flowers too, a big spray of carnations.
Sounds like a nice service anyhow.
I'm surprised he wasn't there. What happened? Did Tom keep you out too late to the pic?
Wasn't near that exciting. Mom work to do, so I took the kids to the park. Girls! Girls! The whistle's already gone. Now then, I received new instructions this day. We're going back to the old way of pointing the brushes. We was using too much paint on the cloth. But Yes, Grace? Something you wish to say?
Dr. Bonus-Chalky told me not to do that. Says it's unsanitary.
Unsanitary? I can hardly believe he'd say such a thing. The man invented the paint. And you're not to be shared brushes. Each girl is to get her own brush. And you're not to get a new one until the old one is so bad you can't make a point no more.
How can you make quota like that?
It's not for us to be asking questions. Is it, girls? It's for us to do the work.
It's not for us to be asking questions.
Here's an instruction for you, McNeil. Let some starch out of your corset. Was she at the service?
McNeil, are you kidding? Dr. Bonus-Chalky was there though. And Mr. Roder. Oh, and Grace, that fellow from crystallizing was there. What's his name? The one with the red hair.
The tall one? Freckles?
Jerry. I think it's George. It's Jerry. Jerry Mallon. He was the one talking to Amelia in the day room. Oh, Grace, when the service was over, he goes like this to the coffin. He goes,
Really?
really? So what if he did? So what? He was in love with her. That's so what? Don't you think so, Grace?
I guess he had to be if he did that.
And can you imagine? If he loved her, never told her, never could bring himself to say. Because she was so beautiful, and he was so shy, and now it's too late. He never told her, and now he'll never get a chance again.
Poor Amelia.
Poor Amelia.
Poor kid.
Her family took it awful bad, Grace. Even her father, too. All of them were crying and just bawling like a baby.
And you know why. Because their daughter had died?
What did she die
From.
Don't go spreading stories.
It's not a story. Her sister told us. No reason Grace shouldn't know. No. What? What? Amelia?
Her father's fit to be tied too. 6 girls at home and none of them ever gonna dance again. All because Amelia up and died from syphilis. It's not my fault if that's what she died from.
But Amelia was ever so nice.
I guess she got around more than we know.
Girls! Girls! Your attention, please. The gentlemen are here to make an announcement.
And to explain some changes, yeah?
Yes. As you may have heard, Dr. Bonus-Chalky is stepping down as company president, and he wants to take this opportunity.
To make quick goodbye, ladies. Some of you I've known since you were little girls coming here during the war to work. 200, 300, 500 dollars a day.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yes, thank you, Doctor. Now, as you all know, the doctor's a very busy man and must be on his way. So let us wish him the best of luck in his new business ventures.
And Mr. Roder, let us good luck wish to you also with the new direction you intend the company to take.
New direction?
With the slowdown in dial painting
Now, Doctor,
and the business moving to the medical market, there'll be lots of changes, yeah?
what the doctor's referring to. Some of our larger customers are setting up their own dial painting studios
Which means less work for our girls here.
in the short run. However, the Waterbury Clock Company needs help with its new studio. We had planned to make the announcement next week, but we'll make it today. Mrs. McNeil?
We'll be asking some of you girls to go on up there. Catherine Schwab was one, and Louise Gallo. I have the list downstairs.
We'll post it today. Now, girls, as we are all on the clock, we'll leave you to your work.
Thank you, ladies. My best wishes to you.
That's back to work with you girls.
You're gonna do it, Catherine? You're gonna take that job?
I will if you do.
Tommy would have a fit.
So it's just for a few months. It'll be fun, Grace. Won't it be fun, Irene? Irene?
Irene, honey, you alright?
Sure, I'm alright. Why wouldn't I be?
Your mouth is bleeding.
$35 a week, and she quits the place.
More to life than money.
Wait till you get to be my age, with a house, 4 kids, thank God for every penny you put by.
We got money put by.
How much?
Enough to get married on.
Don't take much to get married on. Got enough to stay married on?
You let us get married, and we'll find out.
You still eating, Tommy?
It's good.
You're gonna get fat.
Gotta keep his strength up. He works hard for his money.
Don't start, Mom.
I didn't say nothing. Was your father hit the roof over it? Most girls give their eye teeth for a job like that.
Mom!
Good money, easy work, lots of nice looking fellas around the plant.
You didn't tell me about them, Grace.
And she quits the place. I'm tired of it, she says. Are you tired of a paycheck? I says. Who needs a paycheck? She says. I got a boyfriend to take me out on Saturdays.
She said that?
Oh, you know I did it. And for your information, I got a job. I served a bit.
on Monday.
Oh yeah? What's it pay?
Enough.
Enough? You know what that means, Tom? Don't come close to what they pay at the radium plant.
It's office work.
Office work. Guess that means we'll be spending more money on clothes.
Boy, she steamed at you.
I don't see what a difference it makes as long as I'm working somewhere.
Don't make no difference to me. I just thought you liked it up there.
Sure, I liked it up there, but Tommy, I've been up there 4 years.
So I've been delivering mail for 8 years, and I plan to keep on delivering mail for another 20 or 30 years. If I'm lucky, steady work, Grace. Helps you sleep at night.
Close your eyes. I got a surprise for you.
You want me to pull the shades?
Not that kind of surprise. Close your eyes. Now open them.
Wallpaper.
For the baby's room.
Baby's room? You won't kiss me and you're talking about babies?
There's gonna be babies eventually, Tommy.
Well, sure, but usually girls get married before they decorate the nursery.
Plan ahead for once. Pick one.
They're both the same.
No, they're not. This one has big flowers and this one has little ones. So pick.
Is this some kind of test?
It's just wallpaper.
It is some kind of test.
Pick one, Tommy.
Okay, this one.
Really?
Maybe the other one.
But which one do you like though?
I like them both.
I like this one, don't you think?
Okay, that one then.
I like it too. A nice neutral yellow. Goes good with either a boy or a girl. And in the meantime, you can use the room for other things,
Other things. Like what?
like a painting studio, maybe.
A painting studio? Didn't you get enough of painting at the radium plant?
Not the kind I wanted to do. Tommy, I just want some time. A little time to myself. So I can paint with watercolors, or oils, or portraits in oil. I can paint your picture if you like.
Sure, paint my picture and we'll hang it in the outhouse so when all of our friends come over to use the can, they can take a look at it.
All the way you talk sometimes.
Look, you want to paint pictures? Paint pictures. I ain't gonna stop you.
You say that now, Tommy, but just wait. You come home tonight. Late, maybe. Some Christmas. When everyone on your route has had 3 times the mail. Maybe some dog took after you. Some old ladies waiting on her stoop, telling you all about her grandchildren, but you wouldn't have the heart to tell her you don't got time to talk. I know you. So, you come home, late, tired, and most of all, hungry, wanting your dinner. And there I am, with my easel set up in the kitchen, paints all over the table, drop fall on the floor, and your dinner nowhere in sight. What would you say then?
Better be a picture of me or painted.
I know what you'd say. Where's my dinner? It's exactly what you'd say. Where's my dinner?
Well, sure, but I still admire the painting. I just want to look at it on a full stomach is all. So, did I pick the right wallpaper?
I don't know. Maybe I'll go look at stripes.
Stripes, polka dots, who cares? Tell your mother we ain't waiting no more. We'll just run off.
Tommy, we are not running off. We are doing this right. A nice church wedding with flowers and music, and then a week at the shore. Just us. And then we get and set up a place of our own. You'll see. It'll be worth it.
Your mouth hurt you?
The dentist wants to pull another tooth.
What's a tooth?
Harriet, you come down here at once.
I'm waiting for Papa!
When he gets here, I'll send him up after you.
Harriet!
Papa! I can see clear to the church!
Do you see your grandfather?
You think this is funny?
She's 9 years old, Diane.
I'm trying to raise a daughter, not a son.
Relax. Time is on your side. In a year or two, she'll lose all interest in trees and develop a fascination with boys.
What's this?
Something to give you vitality.
Think I need vitality.
It's what it says on the bottle.
Is it pure?
We're a supplier. Want to try it?
If it'll give me vitality, how could I refuse? Your father came by to see me today.
Another hard luck case.
4 children at home, all under the age of 6.
And the husband's been laid off from, let's see, bricklaying.
How did you know?
He came by to see me earlier today. It's never enough for him just to have ordinary ambitions. You have to have a goal in life.
And you do.
I can't hand out jobs that don't exist.
What about Dan Layman?
Dan,
Couldn't use some assistance in the laboratory?
Dan needs trained technicians, not some bricklayer.
There must be something you could do.
I can get my checkbook.
Artie, this man needs work, not charity. What does your father says? A working man needs to work. It wears
On his soul not to work. Alright, if it's a matter of his soul, that's different. I'll talk to Dan.
You're a good man, Artie.
You do love being married to the company president.
It has its advantages.
I make no promises.
No promises.
To your health.
I'm sorry, I don't see anything under the name Schwab.
It's Rudolph.
Rudolph,
The girl I'm asking about, Irene Rudolph, my cousin.
did you file a complaint?
No, the dentist.
Dr. Nutt.
He said she might have bossy jaw like they got in the match factories. And he was gonna complain to the health department, but it's been 6 months and he hasn't heard.
Bossy jaw, you say? Catherine, maybe it was like Irene's doctor said. Maybe it was a blood infection.
But what was it from?
Dirt. You get infections from dirt.
From dirt? Her face popped up like a pumpkin. You think you get that from a little dirt? You get it from phosphorus.
Phosphorus.
Go ahead and laugh. You won't laugh so hard 6 months from now when it's you in here asking after Grace.
It's just a toothache, Catherine.
That's how it started for Irene. You wait. Soon you'll be so weak and sick you can't stand up. Your jaw rotting so bad you can't open your mouth.
Stop it, Cat.
Your face so swollen you can't stand beside of yourself.
I said stop it.
Yeah, a toothache. A toothache and a backache. And what was it you said, Grace? A sore leg that just won't quit?
What sore leg?
From my new job at the bank. From work standing all day.
It's not from the bank and you know it.
Irene Rudolph?
That's it.
Nothing.
Huh?
The company is in compliance with all of the state health and labor regulations. See for yourself.
Paint is a harmless compound of radium and zinc.
They screened a number of other employees too, and they all came back normal. There's a copy of the report right here. Harvard study.
Let's go get some lunch.
I want to file another complaint.
Oh, brother.
Catherine, these folks are awful busy here.
3 surgeries, Grace, and they wanted to cut her again. She said no. She knew. What was left of her jaw rotted so bad I couldn't look at her. Irene was so afraid of being alone, and I left her alone. She died in the middle of the night, and no one was with her.
I'm sorry. Could we have another form, please? Is the girl still sick? She died. Wait right here.
Miss Fryer?
Dr. Flynn, awful nice of you to see me.
Not at all, my dear, not at all.
I told the surgeon I was coming over here, so he gave me the results of my blood work.
Very good. I must say, Miss Fryer, your blood looks better than mine.
It does?
That's what happens to an old man who smokes. Now, tell me what else is troubling you.
My feet and my back, mostly. I've had to wear a back brace for about 6 months now.
I see. And this started before you left the company or after?
After.
And you left the plant when?
About 2 years now. My dentist, Dr. Knapp, he says this all has to do with the radium. I know a girl who died from it. Irene Rudolph.
Ah, yes, a terrible thing, Vincent's angina. Oh, that's an ulcerated condition of the mouth, my dear.
From the radium?
Oh, no. An unfortunate and rare result of poor dental care. So let that be a lesson to you. Always brush your teeth.
But I read in the paper about other girls who got sick.
Miss Fryer, don't tell me you pay any attention to the newspapers.
But
Those stories are not scientific. No. You must listen to science and ignore all the nonsense in the newspapers. Because I can tell you right now, radium has nothing to do with what's ailing you.
then, what is ailing me?
Poor diet, Miss Fryer, poor diet. What you have is a vitamin deficiency.
But Dr. Knapp
You
said
must eat more fresh fruit.
hard to do in the winter.
And raw meat as well. That will help with the anemia. Raw calf's liver particularly. Oh, no, Miss Fryer. I'm a scientist. And I take a particularly scientific interest in your case. By allowing me to examine you, you are helping me to advance my studies. I thank you. In fact, here's my card. Call me anytime. day or night.
All right, Dr. Flynn, thank you.
Happy to help, my dear.
Dr. Frederick Flynn, PhD, Physiology, Columbia University. PhD? That's not a real doctor.
My findings, Mr. Roeder.
He's seen half a dozen girls. Word I hear? He's working for the company.
An objective evaluation, I trust.
The source of my funding has no bearing on my research.
And I have that fella examine me.
It's not a medical examination. No. I merely consulted with her.
How are you doing on the rest of your report?
The animal studies I conducted revealed no adverse effects from the radium. The problem, as you suspected, is one of personal hygiene.
It's exactly the way you said, Catherine. These people will say anything, they'll do anything.
Except the right thing.
Well, we're gonna make them, Catherine. We're gonna make sure somebody hears about this.
My statement of fees and expenses.
Mr. Lee will drive a check.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, we do not have to accept injustice. We can use our powers as consumers to influence the practices of those who would wish to profit from our patronage. Thank you.
Miss Wiley, Grace Fryer, the health department said you might be able to help me.
My goodness, yes, Miss Fryer. I've been meaning to call on you.
My friend Catherine and I, we wrote to the company about our troubles, but we never heard back. So we went to see a couple lawyers.
They all said it's too late.
Something about the law that won't allow it.
The statute of limitations. It's 2 years.
And I already spent every penny I saved on our wedding on doctors, dentists, and hospitals. And one lawyer wanted $1,000 up front. But I still don't know what's wrong. Exactly. And Tom here says he don't care.
We just have to pay off her debts.
So we can get on with it.
So if we can get some compensation,
Do you think we could?
Tell me, Miss Fryer, just how far are you willing to go with this?
Ma'am?
Suppose I do find a lawyer to take the case, and the company says, all right, here's some money for you. Only you are to tell no one what we've agreed to.
confidential settlement.
That don't seem right.
It isn't right, but that's what they'll do. They will try to buy your silence. Is it for sale?
No, ma'am.
Miss Fryer, if you would be willing to put your own needs aside, for the moment, we could stop the company dead in its tracks.
How?
Hit them where it matters most, their public image. When every newspaper in America tells your story, how you were sorely treated, how you suffered, how the company denied all responsibility. Believe me, Miss Fryer, Arthur Roeder will come to the table with his hat in his hands.
And then I'd get my compensation.
I know it's a little frightening.
Yes, but right now I am more angry than I am scared.
Good. You hold on to that anger, Miss Fryer. You're gonna need it. Only be sure no one else sees it.
Ma'am?
Public sympathy, Miss Fryer. That's our strongest weapon. And the public doesn't have much sympathy for an angry woman.
December 4th, 1927. Jackie Youngwood reporting for the Newark Ledger, Newark's first source for news.
Nancy J. Carlin for the New York Graphic, the New York Graphic's only girl reporter.
On the strange case of the Radium Girls.
Who claimed they were poisoned at the hands of their employer. You asked me, it's all a sham!
What do you mean? Those girls are very sick.
Sick of working? Sure.
Doctors say the Radium Girls only have 1 year left to live.
Only 1 year to live and 250 grand to spend.
What would you do with that kind of money?
What would you do with 250 grand?
I'd buy a wardrobe like Irene Castle.
I'd give it all to charity.
I'd play the stock market.
I'd buy my wife a diamond to Saz in New Hampshire. I need to pay my medical bills. And pay off the second mortgage my father took out to pay for my last operation. Pretty Grace Fryer sits at home.
Suffering bravely through this entire ordeal.
It hurts to smile, but I try to smile. I know if I don't smile, I'll go crazy. But it must get to you sometimes.
Knowing what you've been through and the company getting fat off your labor?
And all they have to say about it is,
No comment. I would rather just think about the day when justice prevails. What a fine example of womanhood. We can only aspire to bear our crosses as nobly as this young girl.
Mr. Barry, I've been in this game a long time. When a lawyer tries his case in the newspaper, he doesn't have much of a case.
What's your proposal, Mr. Markley?
$1,500 for each girl.
That's not even a year's wages.
We think it's very generous considering your case won't survive the statute of limitations.
We will find that it does.
The court can't rewrite the law. 2 years from the date of the injury, your clients are out of time.
2 years from the date of the cause of the injury is discovered.
Very creative, Mr. Barry, but you've a long way to go before you can reach the judge.
And in the meantime, Mr. Markley, the press will continue to take a great interest in the story and in the U.S. Radium Corporation's complete indifference to its workers.
More good press for the Consumers League, and you accuse us of exploiting these girls.
The arrogance of that man.
Remind me again of the purpose of these articles, Miss Wiley.
Public sympathy, Mr. Barry. That's the engine of reform.
How does it help the girls to read a dozen different newspapers that they only have a year left to live?
Mr. Barry, surely you can see. The company cares nothing about the girls it poisoned. But the average housewife cares very much. These women shop, they buy watches. Markley can be as smug as he likes, but the Consumers League campaign is working. And he knows it. That is why he was here today.
I hope you're right, Miss Wiley.
Public sympathy, Mr. Barry. Just wait and see.
Dear Miss Shaw, I read of your sad story in the Boston Globe and am sorry for your plight. I would like to share with you girls the key to my own good health at the age of 92. It is called Christian Science.
Dear Miss Fryer, I read of your woeful situation in the Atlanta Constitution, and I have a solution. Venacine, a wonder tonic made from all natural ingredients. We would like to offer you a lifetime supply of Venacine in exchange for exclusive rights to use your picture in our advertisements.
Dear girl, I read about you in the Village Gazette. I run 100 head of cattle up here and do very well for myself. I've always longed for a companion and am well prepared to offer you a comfortable home in your final hours. Surely you deserve a few fleeting hours of happiness. Sincerely, your admirer, Leonard F. Watkins. P.S. Enclosed is my picture.
You all right?
Bleeding again.
We should go. You need your sleep.
Ready to sleep. I might not wake up.
Look at this mail, Catherine. Miss Wiley said people would be on our side, and she sure was right.
Grace, what if we don't win?
Catherine, of course we'll win.
What if we don't? We'll be out on the street. And you and Tom, you will never get married.
Catherine,
All we gotta do is get on the stand and just think about the look on Mr. Roder's face when the judge rules in favor for us.
They didn't have no vanilla, so I got some chocolate instead.
Took you long enough.
Hey, don't get on me. I had 5 people stop me over here, all of them reporters, and all of them asking after you.
Waiting for me to die.
No one is waiting for you to die.
It's true. One of them up and called my mother, asking if I had died. When she said no, he sounded disappointed.
People, please. How about a picture?
For the love of Mike, what are you doing?
Take some pictures for the graphics exclusive.
What exclusive?
$5,000 sound good to you? Perhaps you've heard of Bernard McFadden's.
What, that faith healer?
Herbalist, Mr. Carter. Bernard McFadden's patented herbal therapy is just the thing to get the girls back on their feet. And the graphic will pay for all of it. All we ask is for exclusive rights to their story from here on out.
Grace, they're serious.
You want to pay us $5,000 to go see Bernard McFadden?
Any money, huh?
The graphic always does business on the up and up.
Grace, how much did your father owe the house?
I don't know exactly.
And that last medical bill? A couple hundred at least.
At least.
And all we do is talk to this herbalist fella?
We have to get our money's worth. A regular series of features with pictures, following a course of your treatment, illness, recovery, or
otherwise. And you print whatever you want. Maybe we add some color. Everybody adds color. Not interested.
Hey, you take it if it comes from the company.
The company owes us a lot more than that.
If we ever see it.
If you're going to talk to the reporters anyhow, you might as well get something out of it. You girls can cash in big on this. Anybody can sympathize with the plight of some poor young girl facing certain death with no hope of fulfillment in motherhood.
I'd like you to go. Now. My friend is tired. She needs her rest.
Grace, at least think about it.
Sure, I understand what people will say, but look out for number one, that's the way. Why sit back and keep your nose clean when everybody is up to their elbows in it?
Gentlemen, I have treated a number of girls who claim that they got sick here. One of them, her jaw rotted so bad I just lifted the bone right out of her mouth.
That's all right, Dr. Neff. You can put that away.
All right, maybe you'd rather look at it on the x-ray. Dr. Lehman. This was an expensive case, and I never did get no compensation.
I sympathize, Dr. Neff. What does that have to do with us?
Here it is straight. There are going to be a lot more girls who claim that they got sick here. So I say, we play ball. You give me a list of girls that have worked here, and I will see to it that there ain't no more lawsuits.
You think you could cure them?
I couldn't cure them, no. But I could examine them and then give them a favorable diagnosis. Pyorrhea, say, or something else.
You'd persuade them not to sue.
Correct. Some will die a natural death, but others we will just wait until the statute of limitations kicks in.
Why would the girls come to you?
Anybody would if you don't charge them nothing.
Because we'd be paying you.
We understand each other, Mr. Roder.
What exactly are you asking, Dr. Nash?
$10,000 for my trouble so far, and $2 for every visit, plus expenses.
Absolutely not. Your proposal is immoral and we want no part in it.
Immoral? You want to be talking about morals when you've got hired guns ready to testify.
Those are expert witnesses.
Paid lackeys is more like it.
Good day, Dr. Neff. Mr. Lee will see you to the door.
All right. You don't want to play ball. I know a ton of other people want what I got.
Charlie, Dan, I want you to make a report on what happened this morning. We'll send it to the State Dental Society.
Then Neff will see who's playing ball and who isn't.
Maybe we shouldn't be so quick to shake this off.
What are you proposing?
Retain him as an expert.
Like Flynn.
Dan, Dr. Flynn is a highly respected professor at Columbia University. Neff is a neighborhood dentist.
Flynn treated some of the girls.
He consulted with them. He didn't treat them.
He dispensed medical advice, Arthur,
It wasn't medical advice. It was a scientific
for
opinion.
which he was well paid. We do the same with Neff. It will keep him quiet.
This is getting out of hand.
We can handle Neff.
Neff isn't the problem. It's Ivana's choking.
What about Von Choki?
He's planning to testify for the girls.
All right, whatever Barry is paying, we just offer more.
You don't understand guilt, do you, Charlie? Let me tell you something. A guilty man has a tremendous need to unburden himself. What Ivana's choky needs is to be free. So he will never testify for us, no matter what we offer.
Every penny I put by in the last 7 years, I have sunk into this company. Why? Because of you, Arthur.
We were fooled, Charlie.
You said it was a sure thing. Why work for Von Choki when we can work for ourselves? Remember that one?
Charlie, please.
Ivana's choky fooled us all. The only thing we can do now is clean it up the best we can.
And you better pray this all blows over in civil court. Because when it comes to criminal charges, don't count on me.
Criminal charges?
For what? Oh, he didn't tell you? Drinker's report.
What about Drinker's report?
It's proprietary. We were under no obligation to share it.
But we did share it with the Department of Labor.
He said what they needed to see. Right, Arthur?
Arthur? My God.
Scientists! Government men! They have no idea what it takes to run a business. Von is choky laughs at the very idea of promotion. But look at us! We are the world's largest supplier of radium, largest in the world. Do you know what it took for us to get there? Do you think I would stand idly by while he lets our good name be dragged through the mud?
But the Department of Labor, Arthur!
We just needed time, Dan.
They can shut us down for this!
Just a little time to set it right.
You want time? Let's see what Markley has to say about this. It's new evidence, right? Surely you could do something with that.
3 months! 3 months to study an X-ray! It's outrageous!
Mary,
How are we supposed to hold out 3 more months? The girls can hardly make it to court today. And Grace, what am I supposed to say to them? Go home, get some rest. Is that the best I can do?
perhaps this will help. It came in the afternoon mail.
Catherine Drinker. Any relation to Cecil Drinker?
She's his wife, and a respected industrial hygienist in her own right. She worked with him on his study.
Haven't we seen this document already?
You've only seen parts of it. This is the complete report. Mrs. Drinker was particularly disturbed to read the article in the Ledger, where Mr. Roeder says her study clears the company.
They doctored the report.
Roeder pulled out a single page listing the blood conditions of the healthiest employees. Passed it off as the whole thing. Doesn't look so bad by itself, does it?
We can use this.
That should impress the judge.
Miss Wiley, I'm not going to wait 3 months to make use of this. Let's call up on your friends at the New York World. If Roeder won't let us present our evidence in the courtroom, he can hear about it in the newspaper.
Very bad.
You didn't read it?
I make it a point not to these days.
At the club, someone actually said to me today, "Is it true? Did you really poison those women?" I said, "Mrs. Middleton, if you think it's true, why would you associate with me?"
What do you want me to say, Diane? I knew we were poisoning people, but we didn't stop because we were making too much money.
Is it true?
Is that what you think?
What would you like me to think?
For God's sake, Diane, don't you see what this is? It's Vaughn's choking. He's jealous of our success, so he's feeding information to the Consumers League so they can railroad us.
What about the Consumers League?
Bunch of radical women, do-gooders, half of them Reds, probably socialists, that's what they are. Same with that club you belong to.
I can't. I'm
You're
sorry.
going to quit the club.
Quit the club.
Stop talking to that idiot, Mrs. Middleton. She doesn't know anything.
You're not making any sense.
None of those women know anything. You don't know anything.
Did you lie to the Department of Labor?
I have a fiduciary duty to the company.
I can't listen to this.
Diane, I have articles, documents. People with tumors the size of baseballs. Radium therapy, the tumors disappear.
I'm tired of going upstairs.
You can't really think I'm a liar, Diane? That I would set out to poison people?
13 girls have died.
People die every day. Young, old, children younger than Harriet die every day.
But they worked for you.
They also worked other places. I have a report from Frederick Flynn, an expert in dental hygiene, just like Drinker, who says there is no connection between our plant and these illnesses.
Then what could the cause be?
I don't know, Diane. I really don't know. Please say you believe me. If you believe me, this is worth anything.
Alright,
We save lives.
you save lives.
All for you. You know that, don't you? Everything I do. It always has been. Please don't let that be another reporter!
Arthur!
Is that Mr. Lee?
Charlie, for God's sakes!
I just got off the telephone with the Ledger. It's Dan. He's dead, Arthur.
What are you talking about?
But Dad and Louise were just here last week.
He died early this morning.
But they were just here.
They've already run the autopsy. A severe anemia. The Ledger's running it on page 1.
Blaming the radium.
Yes, I began to write a report for them, stating that we would issue a statement by 8 o'clock.
Poor Louise. We should go see her. We should go see her right now.
I wouldn't do that,
Why ever not?
because they're planning to sue.
Louise.
Yes, she's filing a wrongful death action. Now, I've begun to work up a statement for the paper. Dr. Daniel Lehman, company chemist for 8 years, always in poor health, recently declined.
But Dad was never sickly. He was always golfing, or sailing, or in his garden. He kept a beautiful garden.
Charlie, let's take care of this in the morning, shall we?
Of course. Sorry to bring you the bad news, Miss Roeder.
have to make a statement. The shareholders will expect it.
You need to explain.
I have to.
We're going to get rid of this.
Diane,
We'll have no more in the house.
I'm in too far to quit.
I really didn't expect you to.
I'll tell you what we should have done. We should have taken that reporter up on her offer when we had the chance. That's what we should have done.
$5,000? Don't make me laugh.
And we should have talked her up too, because I'll tell you what they'd have paid. And I'll tell you what else we should have done.
Stop telling me what we should have done.
Alright, keep your shirt on.
Which one do you like? The tan or the blue?
What's Barry saying? You gonna go back to the company?
I like the blue, but it don't fit so good these days.
You gonna talk the company up a bit?
Miss Wiley says another interview will get the job, so I say, why not one more? Might as well look good, right?
Worth the shot, but what if the company went up to 5,000? Would you take it then?
Let them come up. I am not caving in.
It's called a settlement.
A settlement? Just another way for them to hide.
Let them hide.
Then they win.
So they win. They're gonna win anyways.
You know what I heard today? They put lead screens in the laboratory for the technicians. Did they give us lead screens?
What are we doing here?
What'd you think? A couple hundred girls in a room and they're gonna spend that kind of money on us? And Miss Wiley says they're gonna close down here.
Grace,
Move across the river.
what are we doing here? I thought the idea was that you'd pay off your debts, get a better doctor, and then we get on with things.
Get on with things.
You're still wearing my ring.
Oh, Tommy.
Grace, there's a house in my brother's neighborhood. 2 rooms up, 2 down. It's not much, but it's a start. You'll like it. It's already got flower wallpaper, and it's only 5 miles away from the school.
What do we need of a school?
Plan ahead for once.
Tommy, what you think was gonna happen? After all of this is over, did you think everything would just go back to the way it was?
Why wouldn't it?
I gotta see the surgeon again.
Uh-huh.
He says I have some fluid,
Okay.
and he says there'll be more,
We'll deal with it when it comes.
and more, and more, and still more. Why can't you see that? How can you talk about buying houses and getting married when you know there is nothing?
Grace, I want to come home. I want to be with you now. Right now. I want to come home to you at night, to my house, my wife. I'm too old to be living like this in-between life. Come on, Grace.
I should have done this a long time ago.
You just need some sleep.
Tommy, please, don't make me say it.
You just need some rest.
Tommy,
You get some rest. I'll be back to see you tomorrow.
Tommy, Tommy, don't do this to me. Tommy!
February 21st, 1928. To Mr. Raymond Berry from Harrison Martin, Medical Examiner, Essex County. We've examined the remains of the deceased Amelia Maggie. Our study reveals the following. Radioactive substances have been found in large quantities in the upper jaw, the lower jaw, and the lumbar vertebrae. No evidence of syphilis has been found.
Body is radioactive.
Bones of dead girl kicks off gamma rays.
Catherine Wiley of Consumers League declares new evidence shows company lied.
Dr. Joseph Neff, a Newark dentist who treated Amelia, has turned over portions of the jawbone that he removed from her mouth. The X-ray film shows that the jawbone is still radioactive, 5 years after the girl died.
Will this make your case?
Will this force a settlement?
Make our case? No. This gentleman will make our case.
Last night, in a graphic exclusive,
Exclusive.
the founder of the Radium Corporation breaks his long silence with this shocking announcement.
Radium is one of the most dangerous substances known to man.
Dr. Bonus Chalky, is it true that you helped with the autopsy?
Yeah, and given my expertise in radium extraction, I was able to determine Miss Magia absorbed enough radium to kill 10 people.
And what does this say about mild radium therapy?
Radium is responsible for the deaths of these poor girls. It should be considered a most dangerous substance.
And do you agree with the doctor's prognosis that the girls only have 1 year to live?
From what I've seen, they'll be lucky to last that long.
Grace, honey, wake up. It's 4 o'clock. Ma, Mr. Markley will be here any minute.
Did Miss Wiley come by?
Miss Wiley?
They took Catherine back to the hospital last night. If she dies, it's over.
Sweetheart, I'll tell you what. When we get that check, and we pay the bank, and the doctor, and the coal man, we'll be planning life for you and Tom to help get you started.
Nothing to start, Mom.
Why do you got to be so hard on Tom? You just can't stand the thought of you not being here with us.
I have to face it. Why can't he?
Do something with your hair, Grace.
$250,000. What would you do with $250,000? Why, I can't imagine. Mom, you didn't tell me I had mail. God, they just keep writing, don't they? She was here. Mom, Miss Wiley was here. She left me a note.
Miss Fryer, Edward Markley.
Mom said you brought some papers?
Yes, term spelled out, $5,000 to you. I've got a check right here, and all we need is your signature.
This is a confidential settlement.
That is right.
Grace, Mr. Markley is a busy man.
What's contributory negligence?
I'm not sure what you're asking.
That's what you said in court. Contributory negligence means it's our fault, don't it?
Maybe you could just leave the papers, Mr. Markley.
Maybe you could just answer the question.
Why are you doing this?
Why didn't you tell me Miss Wiley was here?
She'd only try to talk you out of it.
What did she say about Catherine?
If you could just leave the papers, Mr. Markley.
What did she say about Catherine?
She said it don't look good.
Perhaps I should come back later.
Perhaps you should answer my question, because I'd really like an answer. In your factory, they told us what to do and how to do it. I didn't make trouble. I wasn't raised that way, so I did what I was told. How do you get contributory negligence out of that?
We deeply regret your situation, Miss Fryer, but there is no evidence to tie your condition to any action taken by the U.S. Radium Company.
Then why are you giving me money?
It's a humanitarian gesture.
A humanitarian gesture. Month after month, you put us off. Delay after delay. You knew how tired, how sick, how desperate. Humanitarian? You've been waiting for us to die.
This is a generous offer, and I advise you take it, or we will be forced to withdraw it permanently.
You're trying to bully me.
Very well then. See you in court.
Yes, you will. You will see me in court, even if they have to carry me in their feet first.
You call that man back.
I'm going to court.
You know you can't win.
I don't care. I want them to look at me and tell me how it's my fault I got sick working in their factory.
What good will it do ya?
Ma, all my life I have done what other people told me to do. I never said, please, can't I finish school? I never said I didn't like the taste of the paint, even though I knew, Mom. I knew something wasn't right. I'd lie in bed at night, my dress on the closet door, all aglow. My shoes on the floor, my hairbrush on the dresser. So much light, Mom. So much light. And I never once questioned. I never once asked. Don't you see? That's what they were counting on.
I sent messages with your housekeeper. I know you got the messages.
As we are no longer in business together, I thought it best not to respond.
That was about getting revenge,
Revenge.
losing the company, losing your business. Now you're getting us back for it by spreading lies about us?
Perhaps a couple of teeth will calm your nerves.
You never told me the paint was dangerous. You never said a word about it. Not to anyone.
I didn't know.
You didn't know. You invented the paint and you didn't know. How can you lie like that?
I didn't know until it was too late, Arthur.
I was not the technical man. You were the technical man.
Here I was the technical man. Sit down, Arthur.
I sold watches. I was a salesman.
A good one at that. Very good head for the business you have. Not such a good head for the science, but for the business. Very smart. Only you can cut costs without losing quality. That is a gift, Arthur. So how about a cup of tea?
What's the matter with your hands? We've been dipping them in ink.
Dipping them in ink. How fond of the pretty story you are, if only it's for ink. No, Dr. Martland tells me it's a necrosis of the tissue. It's the cells, they are dying. With the dial painters in the jaw, it starts the necrosis. With me? My hands.
I had no idea.
It's been a long time since we've seen each other.
How long?
The necrosis, a few months, but I've known for a while. Miss Wiley of the Consumers League asked me to assist Dr. Martland in testing the dial painters with radiation exposure. There aren't that many people around, who can measure that kind of thing. She came to me knowing I had the equipment and, of course, the skill. I didn't want to believe her either, Arthur. I didn't want to believe the girls would get sick from working with my paint. I wanted to show her it was a mistake. So I agreed to help. Dr. Marshland and I conducted expired air tests on the girls. It was then that I found out, when my own breath registered radioactive. Now, you wish to have words with me?
I'm sorry.
Perhaps you should see Dr. Martland.
Me? What for?
You did not notice the glowing dust on your shoes when you went home at night?
How could I miss it? I tracked it all over the house.
You can be sure that a good deal of it is now in your lungs. Look familiar?
Our promotional piece.
An excellent promotion. How many new sales did that book account for?
I didn't track the numbers exactly. I like to think it helped our medical market quite a bit.
Page 96. Open it. The last chapter.
Page 96. The last chapter. Radium. Dangerous effects.
Dangerous effects. How many articles do you have listed there? 10, 15?
About 18, it looks like.
And how far back do they go, those articles?
I don't know.
Look at it. The first one. What is the date?
1906!
1906. Now, let me see. When you go into court, you plan to testify you had no idea radium was dangerous. How do you plan to do that, Arthur, when your own book says that it was? How can you claim you did not know?
I never read the book.
How's that?
I never read the book. I hired a man to put it together. I just glanced at the gap links. I never read the book.
How do you mean you never read the book?
It was a standard arrangement. An outside company prepared the piece. They were responsible for the content.
Which you never read.
I think you will find, Mr. Barry, that very few company presidents read their own promotionals word for word.
It has your name on it. You authorized the book's release, and you had final approval of its content, and yet you claim you never read it.
Mr. Lee was responsible for our promotional efforts at the time. I entrusted those activities to him.
Now, Mr. Roeder, you testified that you joined the U.S. Radium Corporation in 1918,
Yes, as a plant manager.
and you upheld that position for how long?
4 years.
And during those 4 years, how often did you venture into the studio?
Every day.
Every day. So you must have observed the girls pointing the brushes on their lips.
I don't recall.
So you tell me you went into the studio every day and you never saw a single girl put a brush to her mouth?
I said I don't recall it!
No more questions!
Your witness, Mr. Markley.
We have no questions for this witness, Your Honor.
All right, gentlemen, please approach. I am ready to issue my ruling.
Your Honor, we have yet to present our defense.
I understand that, Mr. Markley, but this proceeding is a determined standings, and I've heard enough between these past 2 days to make my determination. The radium in these girls' bones is an ongoing poison. No witness that you bring to this jury can change that fact. In the best course of this jury, I declare that we have no more witnesses called to this section. We can conclude this hearing today and set schedule for trial.
All right, Your Honor.
Fine. I hereby rule that this hearing is concluded by the statute of limitations. And this hearing, and these girls have a standing to sue.
Your Honor, one thing. I have a very full schedule with 2 other cases pending, and a key witness will not be available until the end of the summer. We can't be available until September.
Your Honor!
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but our chief expert witness is associated with an institute of higher learning, and this is the busiest time of year for him, and I cannot expect him to appear.
Mr. Markley is responsible for that situation. He is the one who's been demanding these continuous delays.
Your Honor, surely you will not force us to make our defense at trial without the presence of our key witness.
All right, Mr. Markley. Trial is set for September. This hearing is adjourned.
Edward, why can't Flynn appear?
He's going to Europe.
Europe. But he's known about this for months. Why would he? Very clever, Edward. How long do you intend to keep this up?
As long as necessary.
That girl's still staring at me. How do I make her understand? I never wanted this to happen.
You don't. You don't make her understand. You don't talk to her.
She looks like death.
They all look like death.
Grace.
That man, Mrs. Wiley, he wouldn't look at me. He would never look at me.
Doesn't matter, Grace. He heard you.
How many were there?
Hundreds worked for us. Dozens died.
And they won their case?
Never got to trial. We settled. Made big headlines. $10,000 for each girl. Medical bills for life. Which wasn't all that long, some of them. This is where she sat. One of the fastest girls on the floor. In the courtroom that day, I had a chance to speak with her.
What did you say?
I couldn't speak.
He was afraid to speak.
I had my chance and I couldn't speak.
That man was afraid of me.
How could I make her understand? I had responsibilities to my shareholders.
It wasn't your fault. Nobody knew about things like that then. Science just wasn't as advanced the way it is now.
I think back on those days, coming up the steps to this room, filled with light. And those girls, schoolgirls really, bent to the task, their delicate little hands moving so quickly. No man could work the way those girls did. So careful, so fast. Their brushes moving from the dials to the paint, to the dials, to their lips. Try as I might, Harriet, try as I might, I cannot remember their faces. I never saw their faces.